You're watching Dante's Boxing Nation. Woo!
I was sitting in the back with Tom Loeffler, and I'm just thinking, like, when is this fight going to actually happen? You guys have to understand, I want the Triple G fight. Me and Triple G would be the best competitive middleweight fight that there is. There's no other person that has a chance to beat Triple G like I do.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So if you guys want to watch that entire interview, if you missed it, you could watch the entire interview by clicking on the link in the description box with Danny Jacobs talking about Gennady Golovkin. So that interview was conducted by my man Fred Hawthorne from Barbershop Conversations. Go ahead and subscribe to his channel if you haven't already. He did that interview after the Thurman versus Porter fight for my channel and for his. Now, in that interview, Danny Jacobs, he talked about wanting the Gennady Golovkin fight, but he kept talking about how much money it would take for him to fight Gennady Golovkin. But more recently, it's sounding like Danny Jacobs, he's more willing to fight Gennady Golovkin now, because he just recently said on one of his social sites, quote, "Let's do it, me versus Triple G." And then he also said to Premier Boxing Champions, quote, "I would like to fight Gennady Golovkin in Brooklyn, but no matter where, it's the biggest match of skillful middleweights that can happen. I know there are questions about some people doing business together, but I think it's a situation that's workable for the greater good of boxing." End quote. So apparently Danny Jacobs, he wants to fight against Gennady Golovkin, and he wants to fight in Brooklyn, New York. A fight with Golovkin and Danny Jacobs would definitely be a big deal, especially in New York. One thing about New York fans is they love their boxing, and they definitely show up when it comes to big fights. We've already seen Danny Garcia versus Lamont Peterson. He broke records when it comes to attendance at the Barclay Center, and we know that Gennady Golovkin, he did really good when it came to Live Gate when he fought against David Lemieux in New York. Not to mention Danny Jacobs, of course, knocking out Peter Quillen in the first round. That fight was successful as well. So this fight would be big in New York. We know that right now Golovkin, he's going to be fighting most likely Chris Eubank in his next fight. It would really help build up a Golovkin versus Jacobs fight if Jacobs could get someone like a BJ Saunders in the ring before a Golovkin versus Jacobs fight. Matter of fact, Danny Jacobs, he's been calling out BJ Saunders, and BJ, he doesn't seem like he's interested in facing Gennady Golovkin or Danny Jacobs. So that's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate, because like I said, that would really help build a Golovkin versus Danny Jacobs fight. But nevertheless, I see this fight possibly happening. You know, the thing with Danny Jacobs is the level of skill that he has combined with power. Golovkin has never been in a ring with a guy on the level of a Danny Jacobs. At least not yet. Once again, if you combine the skill, the power, and the confidence of a current champion, we haven't seen that type of step up for Golovkin yet. Now, I'm not trying to say that Danny Jacobs is Andre Ward or even a James DeGale, but this would definitely be a step up for Gennady Golovkin at age 34. The one thing about Danny Jacobs is he has one blemish on his record where he was actually knocked out. But one thing about Danny Jacobs being knocked out is some fighters that get knocked out, it either makes them better or it makes them worse. You can use Manny Pacquiao as a perfect example. Manny Pacquiao was knocked out twice before he became pound for pound one of the best fighters in the world. So he became better. He learned from his mistakes. I believe Danny Jacobs is one of those type of fighters. I believe that him being knocked out, it made him a better fighter. We know more about Danny Jacobs because we've seen how he dealt with adversity in his career. The one thing we don't know about Gennady Golovkin is how he deals with adversity. How does he deal with things that are not going his way in a fight? How does he deal with being hurt and staggered for the first time? How does he deal with being cut, being down on the scorecards? How does he deal with a guy taking his best shot and they keep coming back, and now they're hitting him with their best shots, and now Golovkin is getting hit with the type of power he's used to dishing out? How does Gennady Golovkin deal with that type of adversity? And that's what I believe we're going to see real soon with Gennady Golovkin as he steps up in competition. So I would really like to see this Golovkin versus Danny Jacobs fight. I believe at the middleweight division, it's probably the most competitive fight that can take place until someone like a Demetrius Andrade moves up to middleweight. Now, there's a possibility that Golovkin versus Eubank can be a competitive fight as well, but I don't believe that Eubank is on a Danny Jacobs level. So we'll see what happens when Golovkin fights Eubank next. But that's pretty much all I have for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.